Good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our program Africa Today. We'll be talking on the latest developments on the ground in the African continent. Also, we'll be talking today about a lot of topics, on top of which is the call held by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who participated in a joint phone call that brought together several Arab and regional leaders and American President Donald Trump. Spokesperson of the presidency, Mohammed al-Shinawi, said that the call included, in addition to President Sisi, Jordan King Abdullah II, Bahraini King Hamad bin Isa Al Salman, UAE's President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and Commander of the Pakistani Army, Marshal Asim Munir. The spokesperson added that the president and the leaders participating in the call renewed appreciation for the efforts made by the U.S. president and relevant parties to reach an agreement to end the war with Iran and also restore stability and security in the Middle East region. During the call, President Sisi stressed the importance of investing in the available diplomatic window to reach a peaceful settlement and contributes to maintaining international and regional peace and security. Also, on the occasion of Africa Day, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi reaffirms Egypt's commitment to the African unity and development on the Africa Day. According to the presidency's official spokesperson, Africa annually celebrates Africa Day on May 25th, commemorating the establishment of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, which later evolved into the African Union. The day serves as a symbol of African unity and a reminder of the continent's rich history and the struggles of its peoples for freedom and development. The spokesperson, Ambassador Mohammed al-Shinawi, added that this year's celebration highlights Egypt's historic and contemporary role in supporting Africa while showcasing successful partnerships and contribute to achieving the goals of Africa's Agenda 2063. On this occasion, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said that our African continent stands at the threshold of a new phase of construction and development, drawing on its immense potential and abundant resources, and above all on the determination and steadfast will be its people to maximize the benefits of these resources. President Sisi also added that it is a source of pride that Egypt's celebration of Africa Day this year is being held at Cairo University, a distinguished academic institution whose influence extends beyond Egypt to Africa and the Middle East. Since the establishment in 1908, the university has played a pioneering role in spreading knowledge, shaping awareness, and building generations of Arab and African citizens. This legacy is reflected in the many fields like scholarships and also intellectuals and researchers who graduated from the university and whose contributions extended beyond their homeland, supporting national liberation movement and comprehensive development efforts across the continent. And to talk more about the topic, we are delighted to have with us Ambassador Raqa Hassan. He's the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for joining us today in Africa Today.
Thank you and the audience for giving me the opportunity to talk on your program.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Ambassador Raqa, tell us more about President Sisi's call yesterday with the Arab leaders and American President Donald Trump and the latest developments on the ground concerning this issue.
Well, it could be considered as a video conference for all these leaders.
Yeah.
For the main aim is to stop the war in the Gulf area.
Yeah.
Because it has a very bad and serious effects on not only on Iran and the Gulf Arab countries, but also in the international community, particularly in energy and the economic effects. So it's time now to stop this war and to start the negotiations, and with good intention negotiations between the United States and Iran,
yeah,
to reach an agreement on the other most important subject like the nuclear file and also the other files that the United States and Iran has to deal with to reach an agreement and to achieve stability and security in the area.
Of course. Ambassador Raja, moving to Africa today and the speech by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who affirms Egypt's commitment to the African unity and development. How do you read this, Ambassador Raja?
As you know, that Egypt is one of the fathers who established the African Organization Unity.
Yeah.
And this was in 1963, and
Yes.
up till now, Egypt is playing in a very important role, whether in the frame of the Organization of African Unity, which turned now to be called the African Union.
Of course.
And so it's now Egypt is supporting the African countries, whether in the social and human development or in economic and infrastructure development. And Egypt is supporting the African countries by providing them with experts in education, engineering, and all kinds of aspects to develop their countries. Africa now needs a lot of efforts. First, to guarantee stability and to solve the African crisis, whether in Sudan or in Libya or in the Horn of Africa and the other places, and also to support Africa by borrowing investments, because Africa is a rich continent with its natural resources.
Of course.
So it's not enough to take these natural resources and to destabilize them in the developed countries and then to re-export it to Africa.
Of course.
We want to the installation of the industry and technology and to help the African countries to face the their problems in whether in health or education, because they need a lot of efforts in these two fields: education, health, training, and investment.
Ambassador Raja, Africa chose this year's theme is the water resources. How do you view the importance of water resources to the African continent's future development?
Well, it differs from the north of Africa and the other African countries, because north of Africa is a lack of water. Egypt is depending about 95% upon receiving water from the whether Ethiopia or the Great Lake area.
Yes.
And so it means that the River Nile has to be organized by taking into consideration the interest of the water of Egypt, and to cooperate in whether in the organizing the water resources and not to affect the Egyptian life, whether agriculture, industry, and the human use of the water is needed badly.
Of course. So
this is meant to reach an agreement and to respect the international law which organize the usage of water of the international rivers, and the River Nile is an international river. So there is no country can, especially in the sources of the water, to establish projects which hinder the reach of the water to the countries like Egypt and Sudan.
Ambassador Raja, how does Agenda 2063 guide Africa's development priorities, and also what challenges remain in achieving the goals of African continent?
Well, Africa is, as I said, it is in badly need of investments
Yeah.
and to infrastructure and education and health and to make use of its natural resources.
Yeah.
It needs, on the other hand, guarantee security and stability and solving the African crisis, which disrupted the natural resources and also the human resources in these countries.
Yes, Ambassador Rakha, how can international law contribute to the fair and sustainable management of the transboundary rivers in Africa?
Well, Africa faces, in fact, two kinds of crises. First is the internal differences, like what is going on in Sudan.
Yeah.
And it is also supported by some neighboring countries and international countries. So it needs to, get the fighting parties together and to reach a solution for the sake of the Sudanese people.
Yeah.
Also in Libya, for example, Libya is a rich country with a small number of population, is about 60 million, but they have natural resources, especially gas and petroleum. It can make Libya and develop the country.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, the actual leaders who lead these countries now, need to cooperate and to listen to the sound of logic and the interests of the people themselves, not the personal interest and or tribal interest or something like that.
Ambassador Rakha, we want to talk more about the cooperation between the African continents, African countries in trade sector and the free trade agreement by the 55 countries in the African continent. Tell us more about this cooperation and the latest developments on the free trade agreement.
Well, it is very important agreement, in fact.
Yes. Yeah.
But what it needs, two things. First, is how to finance the trade. Yeah. Because it still is a big problem in Africa. Most of the African national currencies is not exchangeable. Yeah. So it needs to still use whether the international hard currencies like the dollar, European, or European euro, or the Chinese yuan, or other international hard currencies. So it needs to make cooperation
between the
among
countries,
the central banks of the African countries. This is one side, and also the commercial banks, because it has to together. And the second thing, the infrastructure. Yes. To make it used for the transaction of whether the money or the trade itself. Yeah. Through the seaports, the airports, or the main.
Yes, it's very promising. It's very promising deal, Ambassador Rakha Hassan. Thank you very much for joining us today, Ambassador Rakha Hassan, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you for joining us in Africa Today. And ladies and gentlemen, moving to a report about also the UNESCO celebrating Africa Week 2026 in Paris. Under the theme ensuring sustainable availability of the water and safe sanitation systems to achieve the objective of Agenda 2063, bringing together policymakers, youth leaders, artists and civil society representatives from across the African continent. Let's watch the report.
UNESCO headquarters in Paris has hosted Africa Week 2026, an annual event dedicated to celebrating Africa's achievement and discussing the continent's future development priorities. This year's edition focused on sustainable access to water and sanitation as a key driver for achieving the African Union's Agenda 2063 goals. The event brought together government officials, researchers, youth leaders, artists, and representatives of civil society from across Africa and beyond. Opening the celebrations, UNESCO Director General Khalid Al-Anani reaffirmed the organization's commitment to supporting Africa's development ambitions and empowering youth people to play a leading role in shaping the continent's future. El-Anani, the first Arab and second African to serve as UNESCO Director General, highlighted the importance of education, science, culture, and international cooperation in addressing Africa's most pressing challenges. Throughout the week, participants took part in conferences, panel discussions, cultural exhibitions, and artistic performances, showcasing Africa's diversity, creativity, and resilience. And discussions focused on water security, climate change, innovation, sustainable development, while emphasizing the crucial contribution of Africa's youth to future progress. The event also celebrated the continent's rich cultural heritage through music, literature, film, and visual arts, reflecting UNESCO's mission to promote cultural dialogue and mutual understanding. Africa Week concluded with renewed calls for stronger partnerships and greater investment in sustainable solutions that can help improve lives across the continent and advance the goals of Agenda 2063.
And moving to the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Ebola crisis, the country is battling a rapidly expanding Ebola outbreak caused by the virus strain, prompting the World Health Organization or the WHO to declare a public health emergency of international concern.
As the Ebola outbreak continues to spread in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, attention is increasingly focused on the vital work of sanitation and hygiene teams working on the front lines of the response. These workers are responsible for disinfecting treatment centers, medical equipment, and public spaces, as well as ensuring the safe disposal of contaminated materials. Health authorities say infection prevention and control measures are essential in limiting transmission of the strain of Ebola, from which there is currently no approval vaccine. Rapid response teams have been deployed to strengthen hygiene practices, support safe treatment centers, and raise public awareness about disease prevention. The outbreak has already reflected frontline healthcare personnel, highlighting the risk faced by those involved in the response. International agencies continue to provide protective equipment training and technical support to workers operating in affected areas. Experts emphasize that maintaining strict sanitation standards, safe burials, and community cooperation remains key to controlling the outbreak. As the response continues, sanitation workers remain among the heroes helping protect communities and prevent further spread of the virus.
And moving to Senegal, a biomedical research center has played a crucial role in identifying a deadly hantavirus outbreak linked to an international cruise ship, that's highlighting Africa's growing contribution to global disease surveillance and emergency response. We have more in the following report.
Scientists in Senegal have played a significant role in helping international health authorities identify a deadly hantavirus outbreak linked to a cruise ship in the South Atlantic Ocean. The investigation began after several passengers and crew members developed severe respiratory symptoms during the voyage. As health officials searched for the cause, laboratory samples were analyzed by a network of international research centers, including experts at the Institute Pasteur in Dakar. The tests confirmed the presence of the and strain of hantavirus, a rare but potentially fatal disease usually transmitted through contact with infected rodents. The discovery enabled authorities to implement targeted health measures, including quarantine procedures and contact tracing for passengers and crew. Public health experts say the successful identification of the virus highlights the growing scientific capabilities of African laboratories and their increasingly important role in global disease surveillance. The case also demonstrates the value of international cooperation in responding to emerging health threats that can quickly cross borders through travel and trade. Researchers continue to monitor the situation while studying how the outbreak occurred and what lessons can be learned to strengthen preparations for future infectious disease emergencies. The investigation stands as an example of how scientific collaboration can help protect public health worldwide.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our Africa Today. Thank you very much for joining us, and stay tuned after the short break. We have more.